Welcome to the service clinic at Low Country Harley-Davidson. I'm Doc Harley. Well, you can tell I'm not at the shop, but I want to talk about fuel for the Harley-Davidson. So I chose this nice historic-looking fuel pump area. Gasoline is very important to the Harley-Davidson, and the octane that you use is very important. I got a wonderful email from John up in New Jersey. He totally promotes top-tier fuel up in New Jersey because it just works for all his vehicles. And I thought that was fantastic. Well, we don't have top-tier here in Charleston, South Carolina, but we do have 91 to 93 octane, and that's what a modern Harley-Davidson needs. We can talk about history. Back in the 1940s, when Harley-Davidson used to make a World War motorcycle that needed to be taken apart and overseas used, they didn't know what fuels were overseas, so they made it work on almost anything. Even kerosene would get those old 1945 motorcycles to the next point during the war. Then we got into the 50s and 60s, and boy, Harley-Davidson took advantage of the high-octane fuels that they made and made a Sportster that would just rip and roar. Then we get into the 70s and 80s, and we're starting to look at some really good, but also some lead-free. The later part, Shovelheads had a really hard time with unleaded fuels. If you were going to keep your Harley shovelhead, you needed to put different components in your heads, the valves and the valve seats, because they were made by Harley-Davidson to use the leaded gas. Well, now we're in the modern era of methanol. Yeah, we've got percentages in it, and your motorcycle has a hard time dealing with that, but it is created to work with it with the timing and the combustion and 91 to 93 octane. A lot of you new riders don't know that in your owner's manual it says you need to put 91 to 93 octane. Do not put 87 or 89. You may not hear any pinging, but detonation is going on inside your motor, and you are hurting your motor from inside out. So let's all agree you need 91 to 93. Let's talk about a couple other things. One, if you can, get your fuel from the same gas station all the time. That helps in diagnostics. All of a sudden your motorcycle is not running right. You can tell your technician, I get my gas 91, 93 at the same gas station all the time. So you didn't pick up some bad gas at a different gas station. Two other subjects I love to talk about. Additives. I always get asked, what about additives, Doc? Additives. I bring maybe a bottle of Harley-Davidson additive along on a trip. Why? Because I'm traveling through small little towns and maybe their gas isn't kept up, such as I went into a small town in Tennessee, had a premium gas, but the premium gas tank was hardly used. You could tell by the cobwebs that were on the filler. Okay, so this premium stayed underground and caught a lot of condensation, and the potency of the 91 was really not that great. And so I added the little additive, got to the next fuel point, and put in some known good fuel in it. Other subject, some of you hot rodders love to say, hey, what about aviation gas? 100 octane, 110 octane. I'm really going to pull the power out of this. Actually, you are hurting your horsepower. Your motorcycle timing was designed for 91 to 93. If you put 100, 110, you're actually fighting that ignition system. Talk to hot rodders. When they build a high-performance motorcycle, they change the timing for the fuel that they are using. It is critical. Nowadays, you can buy a Milwaukee 8, make enough components in it to 150 plus horsepower, and that demands higher octane fuel. So let's talk about your daily ride. 91, 93 octane premium gas, and get it at the same gas station all the time, so you know you've got good gas going to you. Just a little tech tip from Low Country Harley-Davidson. I'll see you next week.